like, yeah, so what? Like, you know, there's been a riot by gay people. We did that in California in 1966. What was different about the Stonewall riots was that, well, first of all, it wasn't one riot, it was a riot. It started on the night of June 27th, 1969, when the police raided a gay bar, and everyone was in the streets, and these young gay and lesbian and transsexual people started getting pissed. From a recent history written of it, it was actually a lesbian who threw the first bottle at the police. Some people, like other accounts, say it was a young man because she was a really butch lesbian. People have realized, and so everyone, and the Stonewall bar itself was mafia. So people weren't really happy with the bar itself. It was used to blackmail people when, if important enough people came in. So what they managed to do was they trapped the police inside the bar and threw stones at them and stones and bricks at them, and just carried this on for about 3 days, going in and out and every night. And of course, I got to meet some of the participants who were telling me what it was like. And afterwards, it just didn't just die down. Because these were young people, a lot of them in university. They started following up on this activism, which was where we got the first gay pride parade in 1970. The Gay Liberation Front was born out of the Stonewall riots. It was, and in fact, the person who suggested the gay pride parades was a bisexual woman named Brenda Howard. You can see the kind of the dynamism that in this picture that was used to advertise for the Gay Liberation Front. In fact, a lot of the older activists were actually quite worried when they saw things like the Stonewall riots happening, because they figured this is way too radical for us. But it went on, and it wasn't just radical. Harvey Milk became a politician who was the first openly gay politician who was elected to office in California. He was known as the mayor of Castro Street. And one of his boyfriends was actually involved in the Stonewall riots, and he was actually he was murdered by a former councilman when the councilman was fired. The councilman, whose name I've lost. Councilman was former Supervisor Dan White, who murdered both Milk and the governor who had fired him, Moscone, and with a gun, and was only given 7 years in prison, which resulted in a lot of protests. And when he made the mistake of going back to San Francisco.
What is the significance of Harvey Milk?
He is probably the modern gay martyr.
What? Yeah. What is that lead to?
Well, greater political awareness. There continue to be these. Even though that there were, but towards as the 70s went on, there was this splitting of gay activist groups. There were some which went for a lot more moderate themes, and actually shut out the more radical members, including the transsexuals, such as Sylvia Rivera, who was one of the original participants in the Stonewall riots. She was shut out. She was shut out for being since she was transsexual. She started her own activism, mostly for homeless queer youth of color. She was Puerto Rican, you see. Leslie Pfeiffer was not a German activist. She was American, and she was
labor activist.
Yes.
How did you?
I think Yisheng, at this point, people tend to be generally aware of what else would have happened since the 1970s and 80s. It's close to that time.
Early 80s. Okay, the 80s. Yeah. AIDS, which, Rock Hudson was one of the big celebrities who succumbed to AIDS. Larry Kramer started up these AIDS-related groups. Oh yes, after AIDS, there were actually a number of really militant groups that arose. The lesbian Avengers would do things like they would eat fire in public, saying like, we become the fire. We are, the We Recruit was in response to the idea that, homosexuals can't have children, so they recruit your children. Reza Patel was actually in the UK. He often took on the religious authorities, and he was labeled as a homosexual terrorist for outing gay parliament members and bishops. But what may have really caused open acceptance of homosexuality was this penetration of it into popular culture, with people like Madonna, who was not really, who's always said like everyone's bisexual, and used a lot of queer imagery in her music videos, but aside from kissing Britney Spears. And also this, like the new sympathy because of AIDS and Matthew Shepard's murder started to reveal the extent of homophobia and hate crimes in 1998. People may have heard of it. And just, people, more and more celebrities coming out. I'm sure you guys can name most of these people. Several list of same-sex marriage that's actually succeeded. And I wanted to talk about gay adoption, gay families, because a lot of, and I don't have the statistics for how many, what proportion of gay couples in the US actually have gay kids. It's a surprising number. Oh yes, and since I said it's in Hedwana, so be a lie. This is my last slide. I'm sorry that took so long, guys.
Thank you. Some very quick questions. I know we're getting late and some of you might not have had dinner. So some very quick questions. Sorry? Sheila.
Something about Indian culture, I don't know if you guys started.
No, you must stand up and speak to the audience.
A couple of weeks ago I got an email. Apparently a Gujarati Rajput king apologized for throwing his gay son out.
Oh yeah.
He said he didn't have an issue with the son being gay, he just didn't have to be so flamboyant. So but now the thing wasn't that his son was gay, but that he apologized for making such a big damn fuss.
Sheila, it's always good. There's a thing, I don't know whether it's an Indian thinking yet, but regarding this spilling of sperm as a sin, and it probably comes from some, in what context do you know of it? Because that was during, I don't know which part of India, but that was transmitted into the Buddhist text and added as a commentary in which it was used more or less like the Dalai Lama is using it to discriminate against gay people.
I've heard of that one, but I didn't hear of it as Indian.
I don't know whether it's Indian or not, because
the only thing I have...
Because no sex between any other orifice other than where.
No. In fact,
and
in fact,
masturbation and stuff like that.
No.
You need to stand up.
Okay. Stand up. Okay. As far as I know, there isn't any. Actually, there's one aspect of the Lord Murugan who is known as Skanda, because Lord Agni swallowed Shiva's sperm and then birthed.
So he may not be from Indian origin.
As far as I don't know.
No. Then there's another term called a Pantaka.
Okay,
have you heard of? But this is Pali word.
Pali word.
So you can probably work.
I'm Southern Indian scripture, which is in Tamil.
But not Northern, right? Okay.
I get some of it, but that's not what I got.
Isn't it interesting? We're using the word Indian. She's actually not referring to Indian. She's actually referring to Southern Indian or Tamil. And we are, in a way, misled by the vocabulary that we have. And I was quite